What would you do if you stepped onto your own ranch one morning and discovered strangers had buried sewer pipes under your land without knocking on your door, without signing a single paper or asking for a single cent? Would you call a lawyer, file a complaint, post about it online, and let the internet handle it? I tried all of that. None of it worked fast enough. So I did something that made an entire HOA board completely lose their minds. And the best part is, I have every single second of it recorded on camera. Stay right there, because by the end of this video, you will never look at your property line the same way again. Hit that subscribe button right now. You will definitely want a front row seat for this one. My name is irrelevant. What matters is that I own 47 acres of working ranch land in a county that still respects the idea that a man's land is his private property. Or at least that's what I believed, until the summer the local HOA board decided my property line was more of a casual suggestion than a legal boundary. I have been ranching this exact piece of land for over 12 long years. My cattle know every single fence post out here. My boots know every dip and ridge in that soil. I know exactly where the water table sits after a hard rain. I know this beautiful land better than I know my own reflection. So when a crew of workers I had never seen before showed up with a heavy backhoe and started digging a trench 40 feet inside my fence line, it took me about 4 seconds to get out of my truck and start asking loud questions. The crew foreman, a sunburned guy in a reflective vest who clearly did not want this conversation, handed me a work order. The paper had my address on it, a project number, and a very specific note written about an easement. The note said, "Easement installation approved by HOA Board, Phase 3 sewer expansion." I asked him who gave the HOA the right to dig up my property. He shrugged. He said, "Above my pay grade, man." Then he kept digging. That was the exact day I realized something. The HOA didn't just think they had the right to use my land. They had already decided they owned it entirely. They didn't ask, they didn't knock. They just came and dug right there. They expected me to stand there and smile about it. Now, before I go any further, I want to be crystal clear about one thing. I am not a confrontational person by nature. I grew up watching my father settle disputes calmly. He settled things with a handshake and a straight conversation. But I also watched him protect what was his with an absolute stubbornness that could make mountains move. I inherited every last gram of that stubbornness out here. And the HOA board was about to find that out the hard way. I did everything right in the beginning. I want you to remember that, because this is the part of the story that most people skip over when they are telling it. I contacted my county assessor's office and pulled every recorded easement on my property. There were 2 utility easements dating back to 1987 and 1 shared driveway agreement that expired back in 2003. Not a single document gave the HOA the legal authority to install sewer infrastructure on my land. Not one. I had it in writing. I had the GPS coordinates. I had the county maps. I had everything a reasonable person needs. I had everything needed to walk into a room and say, "You made a big mistake. Please fix it." So I walked right into that room. The HOA held their monthly board meeting in a beige community center with fluorescent lighting. The harsh lights made everyone look mildly unwell. I sat in the very back row with a folder thick enough to stop a bullet and waited patiently for the public comment period. When my name was finally called, I walked up. I laid it all out at the microphone. The missing easement, the clear trespass, the county records, the legal exposure they were creating for themselves. I was completely calm. I was organized. I was fully prepared. The board president, a retired insurance adjuster named Arthur, who apparently had opinions about everything, looked at me over his glasses and said, "We appreciate your concern. This will be reviewed at the next meeting." Then Arthur moved right on to the agenda item, about holiday decorations in the common area. This is the moment most people give up. They mistake bureaucratic delay for due process. They go home, they wait, and pipe stay. I did not go home and wait. Over the next 6 weeks, I sent 11 certified letters. I documented every response, or more accurately, every non-response. I filed a formal trespass complaint with the county sheriff's office. The complaint generated an official report, but no actual action because the sewer pipes were already in the ground. I contacted a real estate attorney who confirmed what I already knew. This was civil trespass. Without a recorded easement, the HOA had committed a crime on private property. The advice was to sue. The timeline to sue was 18 months minimum. The cost estimate made me sit down for a full minute on the spot. And the whole time, my land, my ranch, my livelihood. The place where my cattle graze and my family lives was being used as a sewer corridor for a subdivision I am not even part of. Here is where it gets interesting. Here is the part that made 3 local news stations call my cell phone. Here is the part that I want you to watch very carefully, because what I did next was not illegal, and it was not destructive at all to them. It was 100% within my rights as a property owner, but it was also the kind of thing that makes an HOA board completely, totally, spectacularly lose their composure in public. What did I do? I used their access point. See, when the HOA crew installed that sewer line, they placed an access cleanout cap, essentially a maintenance access, 0.9 feet inside my property line, built on my land, accessible from my land without my permission. So one Tuesday morning, I invited a licensed plumber out to my ranch for what I described as a routine inspection of infrastructure on my property. He confirmed what I suspected. The cleanout cap was functional. It was accessible and wide open to the introduction of non-hazardous material. Now, before your imagination goes somewhere dramatic, let me be precise. I introduced nothing dangerous or illegal into the system. I introduced nothing that caused lasting damage to the sewer lines. What I introduced carefully, legally, with full documentation, was enough clean water pressure to make every single toilet back up unexpectedly. It made every toilet in the HOA's adjacent community center flush simultaneously, repeatedly, and unexpectedly for about 45 minutes on a Tuesday morning when the board happened to be having a special meeting. They were meeting about their Phase 4 sewer expansion budget. I didn't break a single law. I just reminded them what their pipes actually do and whose land they're doing it on. Welcome to HOA Drama Neighbor. The reaction was, I will be completely honest with you, beyond anything I had anticipated. Within 2 hours, the HOA president, Arthur, called my cell phone for the first time ever. Not a letter, a direct call. Arthur was not calm. He was not organized. He was not prepared. He said, and I want to be precise, because I recorded the call with legal disclosure, you need to stop whatever you're doing to our infrastructure right now. I reminded him gently that the infrastructure in question was physically located on my property, that the cleanout cap was on my land, that any access to that system from my property was something I had dominion over. There was a very long silence on the phone, the kind of silence that happens when a person realizes they have been so focused on what they were building that they forgot to ask where they were building it exactly. The formal easement negotiation took 47 days from that phone call. My attorney, who had been patiently waiting in the wings, was suddenly very busy. The HOA, now understanding their system, ran through private land. They did not have the legal right to use it, so they were highly motivated to reach an agreement. I will not share the exact terms due to a confidentiality clause, but I will tell you this. The settlement was massive. The settlement was more than enough to fence the entire eastern pasture, upgrade the irrigation system, and fund my daughter's first year of college, plus ongoing annual compensation as long as the pipes run here, plus a formal recorded easement with my signature on it, plus a written apology from the board on official HOA letterhead. I framed that apology. It hangs in my kitchen next to a beautiful photo of my cattle. But here's the thing I want you to take away from this story. The part that matters more than the settlement number, more than the flush, more than the look on Arthur's face when he realized what had happened. They counted on me not knowing my rights. They counted on the process being long enough and expensive enough, and exhausting enough that I would simply accept the situation and move on. They had done this before. I found out later there were 2 other property owners in the county who had the exact same thing happen to them, and they never fought back. The HOA's entire strategy was built on the assumption that people don't fight. I fought, and I want you to know that you can fight too. Know where your property lines are. Pull your recorded documents from the county assessor. Photograph any unauthorized activity on your land immediately. Send certified letters. File reports. And if you ever find yourself with legal access to the clean-out cap of a sewer line that someone illegally buried under your ranch, well, you will know exactly what to do. If this story hits differently, smash that like button. Drop a comment with your HOA horror story and subscribe to HO Neighbor because we're just getting started. New episodes drop every single week. Your story might be next. Hit the bell so you never miss a real neighbor dispute story. And remember, knowing your rights is the most powerful thing you own. Share this story right now with a fellow landowner. Subscribe to HO Neighbor for more.